Shen Qinghua was once a pampered young lady from a wealthy family. In her youth, she fell deeply in love with Gu Cheng, who was poor and had nothing at that time. She took the initiative to pursue him wholeheartedly, and the two soon became lovers. Later, the Shen family suffered a sudden downfall. Her father abandoned his wife and daughter for his own selfish desires and started a new family, leaving behind massive debts. Cornered by debt collectors, Shen Qinghua accidentally hurt someone and was sent to prison, forcing her to leave Gu Cheng silently without any news for 6 years. During her imprisonment, she found out she was pregnant, unable to bear to give up the child. She gave birth to her daughter Xingxing after being released from prison. Unfortunately, the little girl was born with congenital heart disease and needed a huge sum of money for surgery to raise medical expenses. Shen Qinghua returned home in a hurry, bearing all the hardships of life alone. After returning, her former friend Su persuaded her to take shortcuts to make money, suggesting that she socialize with the wealthy businessman manager Li, who could pay her a large reward enough to cover the initial operation fee. Helpless, Shen Qinghua prepared to go to the investor's room in a bathrobe. At the moment of hesitation, countless bullet comments suddenly appeared in front of her eyes, reminding her to turn to her ex-husband Gu Cheng for help, stating that Gu Cheng loved her deeply and was willing to give everything for her. However, Shen Qinghua did not believe it at all. Deep misunderstandings had accumulated over the years. She once overheard Gu Cheng complaining to his friends, full of resentment towards her. He claimed that he had been humiliated by her for being poor in the past, and now that he had achieved success, he only wanted to take revenge by approaching her on purpose and abandoning her mercilessly. She firmly believed that there was no affection but hatred left in Gu Cheng's heart. Standing at manager Li's door and thinking of his bad reputation, Shen Qinghua hesitated repeatedly. The constant reminders from the bullet comments shook her mind. She was unwilling to lose all her dignity and sink into depravity, so she finally made up her mind to put aside all her pride and turn to the now successful and influential Gu Cheng for help. At that time, Gu Cheng was holding a grand birthday banquet for his fiancée Cheng Qing. Having gone through hardships, he had become calm, powerful and outstanding, far different from the poor young man in the past. When Shen Qinghua plucked up her courage to appear, Gu Cheng greeted her with coldness and estrangement, speaking sharply and satirizing her for being vain and greedy for wealth, thinking that she came back only for his money after falling on hard times. Cheng King took the chance to mock her publicly, revealing how Shen Qinghua left Gu Cheng in the past and showing off Gu Cheng's doting on her, putting Shen Qinghua in an extremely awkward situation. Shen Qinghua wanted to explain her difficulties but was repeatedly interrupted by Gu Cheng. In a hurry, she revealed the truth that they had a daughter, yet Gu Cheng was still full of suspicion and distrust. After the quarrel, Gu Cheng pretended to be cold and threw an expensive watch to her, ordering her never to pester him again. Shen Qinghua had no choice but to sell the watch to raise part of the medical fees, but she still could not afford the follow-up treatment expenses, and her life was still difficult. He turned to Lu Tingzhu, an old friend of her father, hoping to get a stable job to support her family. Unexpectedly, the once kind elder turned snobbish after learning about her prison record and her declining family status. He humiliated her openly and forced her to attend various business drinking parties in exchange for a living. For the sake of her daughter, Shen Qinghua had to obey. At the dinner party, she ran into Liu Yangyan again, who insulted and harassed her wantonly, forcing her to drink against her will. Just when she was in a desperate situation, Gu Cheng showed up unexpectedly. Seeing Shen Qinghua being bullied, Gu Cheng flew into a rage, taught the arrogant businessman a lesson and protected her firmly. Affected by years of misunderstandings, he still spoke sarcastically to hide his distress and jealousy, refusing to show his true feelings. When they argued in a quiet staircase room, Gu Cheng accidentally answered a video call from Shen Qinghua's daughter. The soft childish voice and the little girl's appearance, which resembled Gu Cheng, greatly shocked him completely. There was no more room for concealment. Shen Qinghua told him all the sufferings she had experienced over the past 6 years in detail. She talked about the decline of her family, her father's ruthlessness of abandoning his family, the unavoidable accidents that led to her imprisonment, and all the hardships of giving birth to and raising her sick daughter alone. She explained that she left without saying goodbye entirely out of helplessness, instead of disliking him and leaving him behind. Learning the whole truth, Gu Cheng was filled with endless regret and heartache, and all his past resentment vanished completely. All his remarks about taking revenge were just tough words out of pride. He had never forgotten her all these years, and his engagement banquet with Chen Qing was only a nominal cooperative engagement due to family interests without real affection. Without any hesitation, Gu Cheng cut off all contacts with Chen Qing, terminated all business cooperation between the two families, and dissolved the fake engagement. He immediately arranged to pick up their daughter from abroad, invited top medical experts to treat the child, and spared no effort to ensure the success of the operation. With Gu Cheng's careful care, little Xing successfully completed the heart surgery and gradually recovered. During the recovery period, Gu Cheng took good care of the child wholeheartedly, and the father and daughter quickly established a deep bond. The warm daily life gradually healed all the pains Shen Qinghua had suffered over the years. Peaceful days did not last long. The unwilling Chen Qing came to make trouble with her friends, insulting mother and daughter and spreading malicious rumors. Some servants in the villa also snubbed and made things difficult for Shen Qinghua, which made her feel exhausted and leave quietly with her daughter. Gu Cheng was flustered when he found she was gone, fearing that she would leave him again. After clearing up the misunderstanding, he dismissed all the snobbish servants, thoroughly solved all the troubles around her, and guarded their mother and daughter without hesitation. Later, Shen Qinghua accidentally heard Gu Cheng's joke with friends that he intended to tie her down with money as revenge, which once again caused estrangement between them. Until she heard the whole conversation in person, she finally realized that it was just his way of saving face, and his heart was full of deep love and guilt for her. All misunderstandings were completely resolved. The two opened up to each other and confirmed their mutual affection. Gu Cheng prepared a grand and romantic proposal ceremony for her, making up for all the promises he failed to fulfill in their youth and giving her sufficient sense of security. Just as they were about to embrace a happy life, her selfish father Shen Hong came to the door suddenly. He brought his new wife and young son to demand a huge amount of alimony. When his request was rejected, he slandered Shen Qinghua online for being unfilial, trying to force her to compromise by public opinion. Having gone through countless hardships, Shen Qinghua was no longer weakened for bearing. She exposed all her father's wrongdoings publicly, including abandoning his family, transferring family property, and breaking the law. She safeguarded her own rights and interests through legal means, making her irresponsible father pay the price for his actions, and completely breaking free from the shackles of her original family. From then on, Shen Qinghua bid farewell to all the dark past. Protected by Gu Cheng's sincere and lifelong love, she accompanied her daughter to grow up healthily. The couple worked hand in hand to run their career and family, made up for all the regrets of their youth, and spent the rest of their lives peacefully and happily as a warm family of 3.